Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the Renewal of Red Row, our Spire the City Must Fall actual play. I am your GM, Alyssa. You can find me online at A Disaster Queer, and my pronouns are they, them. And I will pass it over to my players to introduce themselves, starting with the lovely Josephine.
Hello, Josephine, Fat House RPG producer at Scary Dog Friend. I will be playing Freddie Rose, our Inkweaver, who I don't know what she's doing. I'll pass it over to Nadine.
Hi everyone, I'm Nadine. I'm going to be playing Amir, the ex-pet, ex-art dealer, present sad boy. And I'm very excited to be playing today. Throw it over to Rook.
Hi, I'm Rook. You can find me on socials at RJK Games. I'll be playing Marigold, the ex-spouse, now widower, bound assassin. I don't know, he's having a time. Nada.
Hello, my name's Neda Onur, and I am playing De Niro, the knight. He cares about 3 things, like a mysterious connection to his dead mother, his son, his apartment complex. That's what I have going on as well.
All of those are in danger, so that's great.
Yeah, perfect.
Wonderful.
Previously, y'all had been asked by a representative of the sisters, one of the gang leaders in your neighborhood, to ensure that a vote on the fate of your personal apartment complex and also just the neighborhood in general went their way, meaning that it would, support your eviction and support the revitalization of your community. Rather than doing that, you went ahead and confirmed that 2 out of the 3 votes you needed would be going against your employers. So, as long as you don't murder them, and no one else does either, it seems like that vote will go in your way, and some of Leia Shines the Light's plans will be at least forestalled. We saw a flashback of poor Marigold and his beautiful, beautiful husband in their happier days. But alas, poor Marigold's beautiful, beautiful husband is dead now because Rook makes the saddest boys. And we tracked down the last of the necessary votes in Pilgrim's Walk, the religious district where we got to go to a little gambling house of the Lady of Luck stalls. Freddie seduced? ? The guard, who was a member of the council, who they were trying to get support from. And, it all went fine. I believe that Marigold was shadowing Freddie and the guard, and someone else was shadowing Marigold. And we will pick up there, I think. Marigold, as you are watching from, I don't know, in an alley, from behind a food truck.
Yeah. I think I give a look to this person of just kind of like, is this amateur hours?
They look at you and say, no, amateur hours is what you did in that house on that job I sent you on. And you realize that this is Maraid, the agent who sent you up Spire on your very first episode here, on your very first job in the show, to send a message to one Thin Glass, and you thought that you did. I mean, you left a very threatening note after breaking into his house, but you did not see the man himself, and as you were leaving, there was some sort of screaming that you sort of ignored.
You paid me to send a message, and send a message I did.
I paid you to send a message, not to actually murder or incapacitate the man, and he's been in a coma since you left.
I did not touch him. I didn't actually know he was home, or where he was when I was there. I left a note in his study, and then I left, because that is all you paid me to do. I don't know what sort of reputation I've made for myself, but I think you know well enough that I don't kill a person I don't need to.
Mairead swears under air breath. If it wasn't you, then that means that... Fuck. And I think you see that there's some shadows sort of gathering in the alleyway, resolving themselves, sort of swirling up her legs, up her body, up their arms. And they slowly sort of fade away as they accept the fact that this consequence was not actually because of your actions.
Quick question, Thin Glass. I remember I think I saw a couple of notes in the real estate. Was Thin Glass working with Leia, do I know?
You know that they owed a lot of money to Glasshelm. So they owed money to both Leia's company and probably some of the holding companies, and also to Mr. Winters, which is why you were sent there in the first place.
Right, and I know that Winters, other than Freddy's whole deal, we're not even going to get into that. I know that Winters is generally on our side. If we're going to be binary about it.
Yeah, Winters is on the side of the people of Red Row in that he is your paternalistic crime boss. Your friendly local paternalistic crime boss.
Cool. In which case, bear with me as I look up. Okay, cool. I'm going to give the basic rundown of what we've found out, since I've kind of made those connections of like Thin Glass, Leia, Winters, Red Row. Like, I'm just going to nothing personal to any of the party, just kind of like the basic facts of like, this is what we found out, this is what I know is going on, here's some leads that might help. So I talk about like stuff we found at the real estate agents, kind of like the general political landscape, and kind of like what I've gleaned from the sisters, what we gleaned from the other two people we spoke to.
Do you admit that you're doing this as a job from the sisters? Or do you sort of lead that part? Okay. Good. Smart.
I do mention that the person we're looking for is the undecided one, and we're going to see if we can like swing it in our favor.
When you say that you are working to make sure that this person, Captain Morning Rose, is on your side, Mairead sort of laughs and says, "Oh, we have enough on him. He'll certainly vote our way."
Interesting. Well, either way, I gesture. this will be entertaining to watch.
He sort of settles in the alley next to you. Maybe startles a little bit seeing Freddy there. And unless you did anything, you wanted to do anything to interrupt Freddy's lovely seduction, then I think that
No, I'm just watching.
yeah, he will leave you. We'll sort of watch as it plays out in silence with you and say, I apologize for questioning your professionalism. I hope that it doesn't impact our work in the future, and presses a few coins to your hand.
Apology accepted, and your caution appreciated.
Keep a lookout for those who have signed deals with Glasshelm or any of its subsidiaries. If I'm not wrong, what happened to our dear target may be happening at a wider scale.
Good to know.
And in a sort of strange, almost like black hole burst of darkness, he disappears.
Aragorn kind of just whispers to himself, "Damn, he's cool."
Yeah, geez, ask your husband for shadow powers.
He's doing enough.
All
He's already
right.
trapped in a knife.
Yeah, he's just sitting there. He could be figuring out shadow blood magic.
We'll talk about it.
Amir and De Niro, you two were just sort of left at the gambling table. You're just sort of vibing.
I don't have anything immediately in mind. Like I'm here to be a social buffer, mostly for whenever Freddy gets back, because he has not kept his eye on Marigold at all. That's really scared the shit out of us. So
I think for the most part, Amir is kind of just keeping one chameleon eye on Freddy and the other scanning the surroundings.
probably still playing cards though.
With his third eye in the middle of his forehead, he's looking at the cards.
As you are you turn from the table to scan the crowds, you notice it's a child. It's just a child. Sorry, this is you, Amir. You notice a child, and is there a symbol? Does Adea have some sort of symbol of her house, of her fallen company, of herself?
It's a rose with a spider climbing up the stem.
Beautiful. Sort of very clumsily embroidered on this child's sort of rag-like shirt is that rose and that spider, and they sort of look down at a piece of paper in their hand and look back up at you, look down again as if like comparing images, and hustle over.
I think Amir spots it quite quickly. He knows when eyes are on him. As someone who is perceived much, he hates being perceived. And And so he kind of just waits for the child to come up and looks over and says, "Hello. Did you want me to ask me something, or money, or?"
The kid narrows their eyes at you, then sort of leans in as if being stealthy. What's your name?
"I don't know. What's your name?"
You have to answer first. I asked first.
But I asked second, and usually in bottom Spire, second is best.
They sort of puff up their chest, making the embroidery more prominent, and say, I'm not coming from bottom Spire, so you answer first.
Kind of taps his chin. "You're coming from the gardens in the middle."
They look down at the piece of paper. I think it's easy enough for you to glance over and see a sort of sloppy drawing of your face.
I think you got my nose wrong.
Mike's job is to acquire art, not to draw. I think it's a good likeness. Is that you then?
I don't know. Do I look good enough to be it? He kind of proffers his face.
They lean in again. If you are,
Mhm.
then you know how important it is that I find the right person.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay. Does my name begin with an E?
Does it?
I'm asking you. You have to find me.
I am at Amir. Yeah?
He kind of like stifles a laugh, and he's like, "You kind of gave it away there at the end." Yes, I'm Amir.
Oh, message for you. And it's suddenly like chipper and almost professional again. And they hand over a only slightly crumpled note from their pocket. There is a seal with that same rose and spider on the back of it.
Oh, wonderful. You didn't tell me your name. How rude.
I am a servant of Our Lady. You don't need my name. I'll tell you my name for a coin.
How about this? I'll give you 5, and I have a very good friend who will help you if you leave Our Lady now.
For real? Let me see them.
Reaches into his pocket, puts them one by one on the table, slides one over. Down payment.
Yeah, go ahead and make me a... We'll call this... I think you can do it as either high or... Yeah, sure. Compel, and you can roll high society because it's in service of your lady if you'd like.
I'm running D6, right? I'm not going crazy.
D10s.
I am going crazy.
This is a very simple rolling system.
And yet I still managed to mess it up.
That's okay.
Hello? Where are my D10s? Okay, 1. That's a... whatever, that'll do. Shizer. That's
Oh, no.
That's a 4 and a 1.
Oh no, you also get one just for being here. So roll another one.
Hurry. Now I gotta find another one. Okay. That is absolutely not good at all. That's a 3.
Oh wow, okay. So go ahead and take.
Just
Okay, that's only a 1.
emotional damage.
Yeah, you can take as much emotional damage as you want.
Great,
And
wonderful.
also take 2 silver damage as this child grabs the coins you counted off and runs off. I mean, you're welcome to give chase, but it is a child.
No, you know what? I deserve that. He kind of looks over to De Niro and just says, "That was stupid of me, wasn't it?"
Yeah, he like has put the cards to his face this whole time and then just like flourishes them down. It's like, have you ever talked to kids before?
Not much.
Okay.
Not since I was a kid, really. Fuck, that was 5. Whatever.
Yeah, like, God, I don't know much about your lady, but like, if there's no allowance, that's like, I would have done the same fucking thing.
Listen, let's win it back, right? And then puts down a couple more gold for the card game in front.
Great, yeah.
I'm sure this will, bad luck, good luck, comes in. The fuck.
If you believe in that, he has a ribbon like sort of attached to one of his pauldrons. He's like twirling it offhand, like, if that's what you believe in, it's, and then has a thought, waves it away. It's just a few gold. Like, it'll matter more later than it will right now.
Exactly. Plays the game.
Goes back to playing the game.
Unless there is anything else that Freddie or Marigold would like to do, I think that you all can converge. Freddie, oh no, are
I've
you
done
doing
enough.
something before
No.
coming back? Okay,
I've done enough.
I mean, look, you secured this guy's vote, or confirmed it.
Confirmed
at least.
it.
Okay.
So, y'all are gathered. Are you going to spend some time at this little gambling table, or did you want to head back home, head back to Red Row, go somewhere else?
I think Emil would try to win at least 2 gold.
Go ahead and make me just like a pure luck check. So roll a d10.
Okay. They've disappeared again. I've got it. No. It's a 3.
You can try to win back the luck, but it is Stolz's will that you do not on this particular occasion.
That's fine. That's fine. Switching deities. Never good halfway through. Okay. All right, let's go.
Maybe that's bad luck.
I think maybe at the very least we should review if we all learned something tonight.
Yes. All means.
But I don't know if we should do it here.
Back at the soon-to-be-gone house?
Whose place?
Soup at mine?
I mean, you've all seen me half naked in mine, so I don't mind.
Soup at Marigold's?
Soup is
Marigold?
She said soup at Marigold's.
Is that what you said?
I heard. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
Soup at Marigold's.
Oh, stupid. That's what you probably heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Marigold.
Yeah.
We all go back to mine.
Because Marigold's on the 4th or the ground floor. I thought
It's
I'm
fine.
not on the ground floor. I'm at least high enough that it makes sense that I would climb up the
Right.
wall. I think I'm on like third.
Makes sense is a strong word for you always using the window instead of the door.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd make less sense if I was just climbing in through the window on the ground floor. Like, at least by climbing up the wall, I'm skipping the stairs. Like, it's a legit speedrun strat at that point.
Oh. Okay. I remember
All
De Niro
right.
being on the second, and Freddy being either on the fourth or the first. Then.
We live there. We're about to not
Yeah.
live
We
there.
live
It sounds great. Uh huh.
Soup.
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 Are you actually making soup for everyone, Marigold?
Yeah, why not?
Are we delegating
Right.
soup making chores?
I think the only person I allow to cook in my kitchen is De Niro.
I was gonna say.
Okay. I was gonna say he brings like a bread loaf from his own place first.
I'll bring
On
wine.
the way. It's like he's taking this very seriously.
De Niro,
Hmm. Hmm.
it sounds like you're stopping back at your apartment before heading over to Marigold's, huh?
Look at that. Sounds like I am. What a coincidence. Yeah, I am.
As soon as you enter the door, you can feel something behind you.
I close like the door hinge. I close it, and I look behind.
Both sets of arms crossed across their chest is Theo pouting at you. Where have you been?
My first instinct is to say none of your effing business, but I'm working with some friends, mostly helping people that are feeling a little scared right now. What about you? Like, what are you doing here?
I haven't seen you in like a day. I was worried.
He kind of leans in and like he gives them an upper shoulder pat like he normally does on the upper set of arms. You're right, and the responsible thing for me to do would have been to leave a message or tell you. I'm sorry. I'm working a job, essentially. And it might pay well. I'm looking at the other districts close enough to Red Row so that you don't have to consider school transfers and all of that. But I'm okay. He like pats himself. I'm like I wasn't gonna like leave you here, especially. I'm doing adult business stuff.
The pigeons messed up all the mirrors again up on the roof for the garden. And you can see Theo sort of hug himself a little tighter. And I offered to get the ones that were, that I can reach, the ones I've done before. And she just told me not to bother with it.
Miss Jenkins?
They're really gonna take the building.
Maybe. Yes. It's there are he has like a minor like flexing of his fists when he's trying to get the words together and look a little put together, but it's pretty fruitless in front of Theo. He obviously knows that, and they both know that it's like an act. There are a few steps they need to go through as I don't know, like a governing decision, and I'm trying to learn about it with my friends. He like gestures outside the door, but I'm not gonna bullshit you. It's hard. There's not a lot of time for resting.
Other people are trying too, you know. Mrs. Jenkins, she took me around some of the other buildings, and the concerned business owners, they're gonna hold a protest.
What? He like there's no flash of recognition. My mic should be okay now, by the way. So you've been hanging out with her and who else? Like there are so many businesses here.
Oh, it's you know, on the main streets, and Theo sort of gives a description of like addresses and areas that you recognize as these are businesses under the protection of Mr. Winters, and so may or may not be being coerced into this protest.
Okay. All right. He leans in a bit more. Did you happen to hear about like their plans, their hopes and dreams and shit?
Oh, they think that it'll be a good to show, and almost as if like reciting the same talking points that these business owners have been reciting almost verbatim all day. He says they think it will be a good show of Red Rose existing economic power if all of the business owners band together in protest of the takeover.
Okay. All right. I don't know what to think about that. That doesn't sound...
They're gonna march onto Threadneedle Square. Like, I'm gonna try and, I don't know, a couple of them were talking about toppling over that new statue of the sisters.
Ooh.
I wanted to help with that, but
Okay.
Mrs. Jenkins said that she needed protection here, so.
Right. Yeah. She does, and he looks at him like genuinely, like he is the upstanding little guy that he is. You are very much needed here. I don't know what a protest like that would mean. It's not that you're incapable. But there's probably going to be a little more dangerous stuff ahead that I'm still trying to figure out. The reason why I am not inviting you to my secret double life, which is really just a job and a social life, is because it is stuff I am trying to figure out. So
A job and a social. Are you kissing them? Is that why you're spending so much time?
he's stunned for 3 seconds, for 3 whole seconds, and then thinks as if he's considering it. I haven't done that. No. Why is that your first thought?
Do you want to be kissing them? And he sort of narrows his eyes at you as if he can see into your soul.
This is definitely not the time for me to be thinking about that shit. Which is my answer, because I have literally not thought about that once, and that is very much him putting on airs right now. Finger wagging also included. That's not my priority. Because I don't know if there wasn't the adults in this building worrying about you, who else would be worrying about you? So
I don't need people to worry about me.
I know you don't. It's not something that I can just like teach you. It's not that me saying that you'll know more when you get older is like supposed to be the solution. I just don't want you to go through the shit that I've gone through. So if you have someone to look out for you, then it's like then I can think about it like I'm doing better than what somebody else might have done for me. Okay?
There is a sort of soft inhale and a look of sort of true recognition, maybe a little beyond his years. And Theo just nods and I think reaches out to give you a hug.
Yeah, he'll go under the upper arms to do one of those. Yeah. He'll kneel down to do it. And you know what? The last thing I need to do is make you worry about me. That's not my job. So I'm sorry.
I'm always going to worry about you if I don't know where you are. You're my family. That's what we're supposed to do.
He buries his head a little at that. Yeah. So that means it's my job to worry about you too. So, well, I needed bread. I came here to get something and go, but I'm just gonna be upstairs. And if you aren't, well, I mean, I guess you're obviously not done packing, so I can come by tonight before I go to work. So, do you need anything from me?
No, I'm having dinner with Mrs. Jenkins. She said that she'd make me casserole because I protected her all day.
Okay. He's trying not to cry. It's like, all right, great. Tell her I say thank you. Because I'm gonna because I'm gonna miss her if I can't get a lot of times to see her again. But yes, really, I wish I could explain more. It's not because you're young. It's because I don't get it. I can maybe when this is all over, I can like sit down if we're really leaving and go over it. But I still have you to protect me, and he like reaches for his mask and like taps the coin that's been like affixed to it.
Mrs. Jenkins told me that even when you're sad in sad times, it's better to, you know, be with people and talk to people. So, and then Theo sort of snickers a little bit. Have fun on your date, and Naruto runs out of the room.
He cannot respond fast enough for when he's out, so he just shuts up. Okay. Like wipes off the emotions that were going to like leave him rooted to the spot. He's a crier, but he's like trying to like be functional right now. So he gets the bread and he leaves the apartment with no further thoughts.
Marigold's apartment gang, or rather, all of you now, because I think that was a pretty short interlude, unless there's anything anyone else wanted to do for heading up for soup.
Does Amir get anything
think-
for the party?
Yeah. He says, "Oh, I just need to quickly duck into my my apartment. Bevies, anyone?" Goes into the apartment, scrounges up a bottle of wine, maybe, kind of dusts it off and goes, "Better with age, right?" And then just before he goes out the door again, opens the letter.
Yes. It is written hastily, not at all Area's usual sort of beautiful penmanship. Though the seal was done perfectly centered. But sort of in this frantic scrawl that you recognize from sort of late night notes, late night inventories that you had to manage, is an address and a time later tonight. The address is not one that you recognize, but you know that it's somewhere, me pulling out my map of Spire. It's somewhere in Ivory Row, which frankly is nicer than you thought she would be able to manage after the fall of her company. So good for her.
Money never dies. He kind of like taps it to his lips. Maybe. Puts it back into his pocket and heads back down to Marigold's apartment.
Freddie also got a bottle of wine, so that's awkward.
Do they meet outside the apartment door?
Yeah.
With the two bottles in hand? Great minds, eh?
No. I'm not sure about great minds right now.
Did you at least have the decency to bring a white if I brought a red?
It's clearly like a red.
Well, I hope everyone likes red.
They're gonna have to.
bitches first. It's kind of emotions.
Absolutely. I am more of a bitch than a person right now.
I thought so too.
Walks in.
I wasn't informed until 2 episodes ago.
How's soup going?
Marigold is like at the stove, apron on, stirring a pot of soup, just oblivious to like the mess the other 3 characters are just getting into, just like very happily, just making soup.
I
Okay.
think De Niro cuts in. Careful not to slam the door, but very clearly brandishes the loaf. It's a big loaf. He's like, all right. Points to the wine. Bread for Red. Goes, that's a lot. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Is that a
Then he
loaf
like,
in your hand, or are you excited to see me?
well, I he very pointedly doesn't meet your eyes. He's like, that's not what I was here for, but because he was in the middle of like tearing apart just like a complimentary piece. He's the kind of guy that like tears the loaves and eats them with his hands and is gonna offer it, and then he like stops with his hand like, oh, I'm happy to see everybody.
De Niro, breathe. Just take a breath. You're fine.
Yeah. Well, jeez. I guess I have nothing else to bring to the table but this loaf because I didn't learn anything. So I'm gonna stand and be helpful in the kitchen.
I mean, did anyone find anything out? Well, I mean, I guess I could talk about the man of the hour, Morning. What's his face?
I already forgot.
We've had his vote. Well, we were confirming it. He's sort of a character that seems to always be in deep shit. Kind of not all that aware of what's going on in like the many housing names that there are, so was never really going to be a problem, I guess.
It seems that Winters is blackmailing him to vote for Red Row.
Perfect.
While you were talking to the captain, I saw Mairead, who works with Winters. He mentioned that a target of mine got murdered, incapacitated. He's in a coma. Incapacitated by someone who was not me. It seems that someone is targeting figures related to so the target was loosely connected to Leia. There were documents about him in.
Give me a name. What was the target's name?
Oh god, you just told me and I've already forgot.
Something glass. Glass something.
Thin glass.
Thin glass. There were notes about thin glass in the real estate agents. But also he owed a lot of money. Which is why I was being sent there to threaten him to pay back his debts.
A lot of money to Winters, basically.
Yes. I think
A lot of money in general. He keeps borrowing
Yeah.
from other people to pay back his existing debts.
kind of a hot mess.
How did he feel about Red Row?
Fuck if I know.
Okay.
Like, I mean, there was enough. I mean, depending on who, I know he had debts to Winters, so I assume there's enough leverage that even if he had any political power, he could have been threatened one way or the other. But then also had deep connections, I believe, to Leia Shines the Light. Like the Thing Glasses, I believe, were they a subsidiary of Glass Helm?
No, they had just borrowed money from
Okay,
Glasshelm as well.
Cool. So they had fingers in every pie, by which I mean all the pies had fingers in him.
Okay.
That sounds
Okay.
disgusting.
I'm so sorry.
Alyssa, I have a knack for any information revolving around blackmail. So what Freddie, I think as soon as she's hearing about like a target, like immediately it's like, oh, this is like shit that always happened back when I was an information broker rather than just like a journalist. So I would love to know, like, basically, like, is whoever got Thin Glass targeting people who have a certain vote either way or feel a certain way about Red Row? Because in her like paranoid brain, she's like, all four of us have been all around the place, if not just being notable. I think she's speaking out loud as she's sort of like thinking of all of this. If not just being notable, we really don't want our names on any lists or faces to any attention. So I think I have like maybe a journal. Like I always have like a notepad that like I have, and if I have to, just like I rush back to my like room and get like a big manila folder or like the accordion, and I would love to do I guess an investigate or whatever I need to do.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigate. You can use low society.
Okay, so I have investigate, low society, and the knack. So is that 4?
That would be 4.
That's a 9.
Nice. You get the name from Marigold and maybe look through your files, see if you know anything else about them. And they are the sort of last scion of an old Spire family who has really just sort of gambled away their inheritance. Has no political sway and apparently no real political vision. And so you get the sense that this particular case, Marigold being sent up and whatever happened to this person, is just about the money. It's about the fact that they were in so much debt. Maybe they were in so much debt to Glasshelm specifically that they and that's the reason. It's not about sort of any political influence or sway.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just gonna go ahead and give this to you. De Niro, the talk of people being incapacitated, put into a coma after debt to a individual or a company does remind you of what Mrs. Jenkins told you about your family. And that sure sounds a lot like what happened to your mom.
I was so afraid you would say that. There's like 1,000-yard stare as all of this information. If you relate.
Yeah, I'm like relaying as I am going. I guess, yeah, just as Marigold, you said, just literally a person that meant nothing. Not necessarily comforting. De Niro, your face is just moving around a lot, contorting.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry for that. It sounded familiar. Unfortunately. He takes out the business card with the address written on the back, and he's in the kitchen area. He slides it to Marigold for him to look at. Does this name mean anything to you? It says Kaya Thorn. Where are my notes? Hold on.
Thornspud.
Thornberry.
I was so hesitating just to not do that. It's Thornspun, yeah. Which
Faye is, according to the NPC cheat sheet, that Faye is local, right? So, would the name?
Faye was local years ago.
Like, before I got here?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I'm sorry, the name doesn't ring a... Does the name ring a bell in any other contexts?
I think that she probably keeps enough of a low profile that you've never been asked to, like, go try and murk her or, like, steal anything. So I think that no, it is just fully, oh, actually, you looked through some of the papers that y'all have found, like, at the glass house and at the real estate, and Faye has definitely undersigned some of the loans and had been involved in some of the various Glasshelm business dealings in service of Leia.
Oh, yeah. I saw this name on a couple documents. Seemed to be a Glasshome employee.
oh, you found on one of your jobs? He's not playing it cool.
Like some on jobs. A couple were in the office we were just at.
Okay.
Are you alright?
I mean, the long answer is no because of the everything. The short answer, also no.
I pour you a glass of wine.
Yeah, like without looking, he reaches for it. I think takes it. I learned a lot today, mostly about how debtors, or this person in particular, hypothetically being involved in my personal life. So the method of dealing with the last person that Murray talked about just seemed almost too familiar, you know? So, yeah, I'm not doing all right.
Someone special to you?
Someone dead, so I don't know, like, sure, I guess, like, it was my mom, and she was special to me, and that's probably the simplest way I can put it. Mostly because I had never been in a position to wonder about it until this shit went down, funnily enough. I do know that I probably, if nothing else goes well, then I want to meet Kaya. So I don't know how it makes me feel and how, like, what the, like, what the proper thing is to do, because the organization that we're dealing with, both of them seem not great. I almost feel like if things go well, that we're just going to be under Mr. Winters for the foreseeable future, and that doesn't sound great to me. But it's hard not to feel like we're not in control of this all. So I still want to learn more, you know.
Could always just kill Mr. Winters after the fact.
What would that do? Like, he looks to Freddy briefly, and then, like, it's like, oh, never mind. What would that, like, dude? He's everywhere. It feels like that would...
Everywhere commercial.
But people depend, like...
Right.
Like, people, they'll depend on that. It's... There's no better options for immediate solutions that aren't just gonna bring more problems to our door.
I mean, better the evil we know than the evil that seeks to raise everything to the ground.
Okay. I can at least agree with that.
And hey, with regards to Kaya, you know, this entire situation is inherently personal. They're coming for our home. If you want to make it a little bit more personal, no one will blame you for that. In a situation where you're constantly thinking about everyone, you're allowed to think about yourself.
I'm sure someone would blame me for it, but
And I will kick their ass.
they're small. Please don't. If I can worry about as many people as I can, then maybe I'll take like a mental health day after this is all over. I just can't really afford to do that now. Where does that leave us even? Like, we could do nothing, and this vote would technically go our way. Is that correct?
We're 2 for 3.
That is correct.
And that's what's best for the building and the district. One mental health day per decade. Yeah.
It's the solution to our immediate problem, I think.
Sure.
It puts a little bit more control into our hands.
He's probably too distracted to actually help Marigold at the stove at this moment, so he goes to the couch. Yeah. The sisters still seem like a problem. The council, I guess, like the whole point of the council also seems like a problem. If they have the power to do this,
And the captain, we have his vote, but it is worrisome that he doesn't know anything. He doesn't really understand what's going on as far as what his role on the council means to people.
I mean, like the 3 people on the council, artist, we're not even going to go there. The captain who doesn't know his role, and then
The local
Astrid.
capitalist. Yeah.
who I point in the direction of the office, who works over there and had, like, literally across the street from us. Like, her window faces our building. She would see us every day, had no idea who we were. Like, has no idea who the people outside her window are. The entire system is broken. And once we stop it from destroying everything, we can think about how to rebuild it.
that all sounds good. That all sounds grand. That all sounds like the answer. Which I'm not trying to take away from you, Marigold. I just don't know what that looks like right now or tomorrow.
And nor do I. It's the thing you learn being married to Michael is that any solution that suits a community is bigger than a group of people drinking soup and wine in an apartment. It's bigger than a day. Don't beat yourself up for not having answers today. You know, this is going to be bigger than a day's worth of planning. And, like, not to take away from you either, because it's good to think about it. We need to think about it. But long term, we don't need to decide today.
Freddie looks over at Amir just to like see the expression on his face.
I think Amir, for the most part, is actually quite stoic through all of this. I don't know if it comes across. He's kind of far away. He's nodding, like, absent-mindedly at the right times. It's a very kind of practiced, I'm here, I'm present, but my soul has died kind of look. Because he's thinking about something else.
Yeah, go ahead and give me just a 1d10 roll, like a luck roll.
Oh, good. That's not ominous at all. The heck? It's a 5.
Fine. You're so far away.
Cool. Yeah, he kind of like absent-mindedly, once De Niro left the kitchen, he probably went over. He didn't really care if there was any protest from Marigold, and he would have started like chopping vegetables and stuff. He probably-
Marigold will let you, but will be closely monitoring to make sure you don't hurt yourself.
He's very well practiced. It's very kind of robotic in the way that he's moving. It's practiced. He doesn't have to look. He tucks his knuckles in when he's chopping the carrots and such. When he probably does meet your gaze for a second, Freddy, and there is a bit of a return to kind of nod and quizzically look at you like, why are you looking at me? But doesn't give you much else.
Did you learn anything?
I learned not to put down 5 gold in front of a child. Other than that, not much.
Okay.
I learned that my name begins with E.
What?
What?
Just a little joke.
I thought you were fucking with that kid. It's okay.
Okay.
So, concrete plan. What happens tonight, tomorrow? What are we doing?
How many days is it until the vote?
I
Let
believe
me-
it's 2 or less.
Scroll up. I have been keeping track, but I cannot find it. Yeah, I think you're at 2 days now.
And when this
Or
day
tomorrow.
ends.
Or sorry, when this day ends, it will be 2 days. You're at 3 days.
Okay, got it.
And
All of our
was
side
Nero
objectives
the
done in one
process?
day. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, those are. Sorry, just to confirm. Was
Everyone's so
Nero
on top of
the
each other. I have
process?
no idea what's going
That's
on.
fine. We both said yes.
So,
When Amir asks
This-
that,
mhm.
De Niro sort of like wraps his nails against the glass. Tonight, nothing comes to mind. I know there's gonna be. Theo called it a protest, and that seems like a very generous word. Now that I think about like the types of people affected, it's gonna be a little worse. But something's happening tomorrow in the square.
Is he
I believe.
who's organizing it?
I have no idea, like if there's even a single organizer. It's the business owners in the commercial district. Seems like they're protesting this vote, like, which is like it's going to affect more than the building, I imagine. But they all are also like the type of people to be under Mr. Winters, so I don't really know if everyone's heart is in it. So this is him speaking from memory, of course, and he'll like go over it in finer detail and relay it better before the day ends, actually, and still like cupping this glass a little too closely like this. I guess that's something I personally will be at because that is just spelling trouble. It could lead us to more information, like if there's any pushback. Trying to imagine there will be. I don't know the details of if it'll be violent or not. So
I might have to cover it. Maybe dress it up. A little bit on text.
Yeah, I was wanting to be there as well, just in case things go south too.
We are, I guess, at this point at a good position for the vote to go on time. Delaying for whatever reason. I think this is a good thing, ultimately, that at the very least we have people who are being affected by all of this, showing their faces.
I'm pretty sure it's affecting everyone, so that makes sense. That's comforting, and that's comforting. Points to both of you, and then looks to Amir.
I
Got any plans for tomorrow?
Right now we have 2 out of 3 votes swaying in our way. Or so they say. I am a little concerned that if they say one thing and do the other on the day.
Me too.
We have one still that may sway not in our favor.
Alyssa, how long is a temporary bond for?
Oh, you did. I think that your bond with the captain will last through either until you call in a favor or
Right.
through the vote.
Okay. Well, the captain trusts me, but I did appeal to him as sort of a guilty-hearted journalist writing in favor of Leia, but let him know that that's not how I actually feel. But that's one that maybe we can count on.
I'm not
And
opposed
I
to killing the
don't
capitalist.
I don't trust him as far as I can throw him.
The artist.
He's quite light. But still, I feel like we should strengthen our chances.
Killing the capitalist. I look to Marigold.
Don't necessarily have to kill him.
I'm just saying it's on the table. Like
Killing them,
Case-
are we hoping to delay the vote, essentially? Or... Because I don't know if they're going to vote if someone off the council is incapacitated.
Mm.
Of course, that makes sense.
If
Yeah.
things bureaucratically are working smoothly, then we'll definitely see what the fuck happens in 3 days. Almost 2 days.
I have a small trump card.
Okay.
It would have to be on the day.
Is there anything we can help with?
No, it's to do with me.
Is it that guy that looked at you earlier in the original glasses?
No, that is to do with me, but it's similar, but
Unfortunate.
I have a specific version of me that people will quite literally do anything for.
kind of looks at Freddy and says, "You haven't met him, dear." But again, it would have to be on the day. So I suppose that is a
Just a
last-ditch effort,
pre-vote seduction.
if you want to put it that way.
Would we have to set you up at all for this trump card, whatever this might be? Or would we be able to remain not incriminated, whatever?
It's matters of the heart, not the nether regions, don't worry. I would have to meet them. I would have to see them on the day.
The council or the trump card?
Whatever member it is that we would need to sway.
So, maybe Astrid's alive a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. And then after the vote, we can do whatever we like. I do have somewhere to be tonight, though.
Oh, look at you.
I would love to go to the protest. Is the protest happening tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Mid-morning.
I will
Yeah.
be there, I'm sure, at the protest tomorrow. But I do have somewhere to be tonight.
Don't
Okay.
have too much fun.
No promises.
Okay.
Kind of pushes the accoutrement of chopped vegetables to the side and starts moving towards the door, looks at Freddy and kind of cocks their head.
Freddy gets up at the I guess sort of in the body language, the gesture of saying goodbye to you outside the door, joins you.
Closes the door gently and kind of his hand remains on the doorknob for a moment and then he lets go. Don't follow me tonight. I'm not expecting you to, but
Are you baiting me on purpose?
no. No, I'm asking you nicely.
It's none of my business. There's no reason for me to do that, so I'll just get drunk and have soup and be with our friends.
I wish I could do that too. He goes to say something and then he goes, "Good night." Walks off.
Kind of like reaches for your hand, but it does, I think, just end up being like one finger hooking onto like your middle finger, and then she just like sort of lets go and wraps herself up in whatever shawl cardigan that she's wearing. Be careful.
He does the Pride and Prejudice flex.
Be careful.
I will. Into the night he goes.
And I think that is a good place for us to... How we feeling, gamers? Do you want to take a break or do we want to end for tonight?
I want to keep going, high key, but how's everyone feeling?
I'm fine.
I'm happy to continue if everyone wants to.
Okay, let's go on break. We will be back in 10 minutes. Hello, and welcome back to the Renewal of Red Row. Before we jump into games, we have channel announcements. Now that Itaewon by Night is wrapped, Madness Over Manila is starting. This is a 10-part series, World of Darkness. I probably should have thrown this to Joe, but the first half is vampires and the second half is hunters a few years in the future. It's super exciting, happening in Manila, premiering August 17th, which is next Tuesday. Run by the beautiful, incredible, very talented Fabian.
And Alyssa and I will be on the vampire half.
Yes. Any other channel notes?
That's it.
Okay, let's get back into it. Amir, we will hold off on you for a minute as we go back to the remaining group. What are you going to do, Freddy, being asked to definitely not follow this man?
So I have no magic. Well, like I think what I do is magical, but to a more practical degree. She doesn't like vague information. She doesn't like not knowing where people are going that she potentially cares about. And in this moment, it's a very weird thing of like, okay, do I care about Amir right now, or is it just killing me that I don't know where he is? So, I think she doesn't have really anything to do at the moment. She's just gonna go back into the apartment. But she will be very, like, conspiracy kind of theory minded, like just like sort of like looking confused and like looking like, you know, a high schooler with like boyfriend problems almost, and just like sits back down.
De Niro like nudges you a little, like, is your husband all right? It's okay. I didn't need to ask. It was more so like a question that your face was almost asking. So I tried to predict that. I was I was about to ask Marigold, like, if they did anything for fun that they thought we could do. We're like, the stock is looking really thick, but I don't know if it's done yet. This whole time, the soup's just been in prep and not actually been eaten yet.
I don't know how soup's made. I don't know why I chose this for the character.
You could just say it's done. You don't have to worry about the details.
Completely disrespect the rules of reality. I love it. The soup's done.
It's a soup. It's not like a stew.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think Marigold, like, obviously serves the soup. I think, like, has, like, a container, like, a smaller pot, like, portions, some of the soup later for Amir once Amir is back. Whips up a garlic butter, makes some garlic bread, serves. I don't know what, like, they would do for fun, but yeah,
Nothing
just
that you
kind of
wanna
just
do?
serve the soup.
Yeah. Because that was an out loud question he posed. So it kind of just hangs in the air like, well.
Freddy is gonna get drunk at some point.
We know.
Yeah.
We're doing that right now.
And I think just like in a complete outburst, like out of nowhere, no one's talking, everyone's eating soup. She just said, "He just told me to not follow him."
Oh. That doesn't seem like something he should say to you. Having
Exactly.
no context, but still riding for you 100%. Like, that's not right. But that's also just generally suspicious.
Yes, and the whole
Was that-
thing of like I have a version of myself that is appealing or something.
I thought it was a sex thing.
Yeah, or no, I don't. Lots of things. It could be magic, something, whatever. But I don't know. I'm the one putting my life at risk for shit.
We kind of all are.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I hope Amir's not doing that.
I don't know what my fake husband does anymore.
Do you really want to keep that up?
Did he ever, for whatever reason, have a heart-to-heart with all of you about his mistress during his durance?
No, I might have been like 1 or 2 heart-to-hearts away. I can try again later. Was it bad? Like,
It
I have the impression that it was not good.
it ended early
Yeah.
because I sent the company into bankruptcy, and is sort of the reason he wouldn't. I can't imagine he has a lot of money unless he's doing anything else. And I just left him when we were younger.
Well, I mean, did you mean to?
I needed to get away in general. But like, get away and the like young Elfier sort of, this life isn't for me, I'm going to go out and do something reckless, and then you actually are in danger all the time. And it's not exactly for you. It is too late for me to feel guilty. Or not, I don't know about that so much as I don't know. We still don't really know who we are. He and I. I think I want to, but
I mean, he clearly cares. I say clearly. Maybe it's a little behind your back, but he does care in a weird way. Though I don't know if that's the true version. Like, he takes up the mask thing better than any of us, even Marigold. So I wouldn't take it too personally that it's like a dance that you guys have to do. So I'm not a fan of the dance, so I just talked to him about it. But maybe you should I don't know, when there's a minute to breathe, maybe you should get into the metaphorical dance again and ask how
Stop
you.
dancing and start playing the music.
That's much better. Yeah.
The two of you are far too flowery for me.
Um,
Then drink your goddamn soup.
or that.
She drinks the wine instead of the soup.
That's
immediately
not
points to
what I
wine.
said.
I know that's not. I mean, this is good enough to be like a good hangover cure. Hopefully, I'm not trying to be unprepared. I guess. The flowery shit was Amir's deal, so.
Also, you're a journalist. Isn't that your entire job?
No. It's to have succinct language and for people to basically understand at a first read what's going on. Ideally, you know? I'm explaining vocabulary up the fucking wazoo and then immediately forgetting. But I'm not writing prose in the newspaper.
No, but when Amir talks about you, that's how he sounds. So that's just.
And he talks about me. Okay.
Yes, like you're talking about him right now.
We're talking about each other right now. Like, I'm sorry if that's, I guess, novel. We haven't really had too many times like this to go over shit anyway, so I guess it does feel novel.
I'm done talking tonight.
Thanks for sharing. It looks to the both of you. What I normally like to do for fun, since nobody answered that question, was picking fights and going to bars. But it seems like there is a small teenage voice in the back of my head saying that's not a good idea for tonight. So I am fine to chill out.
Anybody want to get high?
We picked a lot of fights.
Theo does probably pick a lot of fights, and of course he learns that from me, but I'm not gonna do that if it's like, if there's something really important. He has no personal reason to anyway. But he does want to get high.
Marigold will open some windows so the apartment is well ventilated.
And then
we'll just like crash.
yeah, just crash.
Okay, as the three of your compatriots sit in the apartment drinking soup and getting high, what are you doing, Amir?
I'm taking a long, lonely walk to the address that's on the letter.
It is indeed a long trip. Of course, they don't want to make it easy for you to come from down Spire up to Ivory Row, even if it is sort of less favored than it had been in the past. But you make your way slowly, reach the level, navigate through all of the canal streets, and the address that you were given is in the oldest quarter of Ivory Row. It is a manor, really, with sort of beautiful grounds and a sprawling estate that has been very clearly refaced to sort of fit in with modern aesthetics. But I think sort of spiraling out from behind the new brickwork, the new sort of architectural flourishes, are sets and sets and sets of beautiful, thin, delicate, almost like spider webs of sort of filigree that lines the roof, lines some of the like towers that this manor has. And it's very clear that someone has taken one of the oldest buildings, I think, in the neighborhood and attempted to update and modernize it. And the aesthetic, I think that what strikes you is that neither aesthetic is Adea's. And anyway, she shouldn't be able to afford this, which is, confirmed when you hear a hissed voice from the bushes. Get over here. We don't want them to see you.
Okay. He goes towards the voice.
And sort of behind a nice little, clean hedge is your mistress. What did she look like the last time that you saw her?
Dea is around 5'10" without heels, which she rarely didn't wear. Even, on sleepy Sunday mornings, you would hear the clack of stilettos throughout the halls and winding corridors of her old home. She has a closely cropped buzz cut, essentially. Deep dark skin, long pointed ears that I think have slightly turned down from the constant wearing of heavy jewelry, but give a somewhat like forlorn look. High cheekbones, eyes that kind of come to a point like cat eyes, without the use of makeup, which is odd and disconcerting to some. That is what Amir remembers of Adea.
This is a feral mirror version of the woman that you recall. She wears heels still. Her hair is in a perfectly maintained buzz cut. The jewelry adorning her ears is sort of close and tight, sort of cuffs rather than anything dangling. But those eyes are wide, and there are new lines on her face. And as she hisses with you, she gestures with hands that are not at all manicured in the way that you would expect of your beautifully put together lady. She says, "Get over here before they see you. Crouch. Now."
He stands, looks towards the windows. Who are we hiding from, Adea?
You don't know what this building is, do you? Clearly not, if you're so blasé about the guard.
No, I can't say that I do, but you were the one who directed me here, so pray, do tell. And at that point, he will kneel.
And as you kneel, you feel something not on the ground, but in your head. Sort of the slower you get, the more you feel a pressure, almost like a headache from a change in weather, like a sinus pressure that sort of coalesces and resolves into a chorus of voices. And they're just pleading at you. Let us out. Let us out. You hear it,
Where
don't
are we,
you?
Adea? What are those
What?
voices?
Before everything that happened with the company, I was interested in getting into magical networks. There are easy ways to establish it, but the easiest, I think, would be to simply take over someone else's. Below us is a databank. There are, I don't know, 6 maybe? 8, including the ones who've broken free. Sages in sleep beneath us, and their magic is being used to help process a lot of information for some other company. We could rein them back in and take them over, and all of that power would be ours. I wouldn't have to worry about blackmailers, about corporate espionage, if I could simply ask my network to predict it for me.
Oh my god. He starts standing. I didn't come here to be your lackey once again.
And then why did you come?
I needed a favor.
Well, how would you feel about a favor for a favor then?
I don't think they quite weigh out. The favor I'm asking for has nothing to do with keeping sages under wraps for your own maniacal needs.
Time was, they were your needs too. And think of
Not.
how happy you were back then.
Happy. You truly think I was happy?
How could you not be? You can't tell me I didn't treat you well. Compared to the way that others would have. I elevated you, Amir. I brought you along to high society, allowed you to make your own contacts.
If I did anything wrong, if I messed up, if I lost a contact, if I failed to secure any pieces for you, what would you have done? What did you do?
I don't know why you're attempting to bring unpleasantness into this conversation. I was simply trying to help you grow. You down Spire sorts, it's important to give outside motivation to help lessons stick. It was all for your improvement so that we could grow the company together.
He stands up and says, I'm a fool for thinking that perhaps a little hardship would have changed you. I can see that I am entirely wrong. More fool me. Goodbye, Adea. And he starts running towards the building and says, Help! 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 There seems to be someone in the gardens. I was here for an interview. I was looking for help. Help! There's someone here.
Yeah, you start shouting, and there were a few lights on in the building, and suddenly there are searchlights coming out as what is a distinctly militarized-looking group of guards come swarming out. And go ahead and make me a roll. Let's say compel, and you can do high society. This is a high society area.
Fabulous. Now, oops, sorry, threw my mic somewhere. If this is high society,
Yes.
do I get an extra because I can roll with mastery?
Yeah,
On
so
social
you
checks?
should be rolling 4.
Fabulous. All right, don't fuck me. Okay. Do you want a total?
I want your highest dice.
Highest is 9.
Oh, nice. Finally rolling good.
Finally.
The first guard that reaches you sort of pauses. They have a kind of like absurd greatsword slung over their back and say, who's here? Who's trespassing?
Quick, she's over there. I came over because I know Henry and I was hoping that maybe I could speak to someone about, possibly procuring a job here. I work in Lower Spire. Over there, quick, I'll take you to her.
Oh, okay. Are you leading them straight to her location?
Oh, 100%.
Well, I rolled a 1 for how good she's doing. So...
Well, isn't it the consequences of your actions?
The second you started running, I mean, honestly, it was shocking that you wouldn't just fall back into your natural place following her. And so Adea hesitated. And when she realized that this wasn't a trick, wasn't some negotiation tactic, she started to run, but of course she had to appear her best for you. And so she was still wearing those heels, which, even with practice, are not ideal for a manor grounds. And so she got a few steps, and the guard are able to catch up to her immediately. They swarm her, and she doesn't need to do the fighting. She had people to do fighting for her. So in no time at all, she is being dragged across the lawn and into the building. The guard who you talked to sort of nods at you and says, "Thank you for your service. We are not hiring here."
Oh. Well, that is a shame. I'll have to feed my child another way. That's fine. If you do find that you need to be hiring any sort, really, I know I came up to you running and screaming and shouting, but I am quite brave and I can be a guard. He's just trying to make himself seem super useless. But I can do sweeping, I can do, and kind of like looks at the guy's face and is like, well, my name is Gerard and you can find me in Lower Spire in the bakery if you do need someone, but until then, you can see that perhaps this isn't the place for me right now, so I'll head off. winning.
Yeah, and I
Tot
think
us
that
off.
you rolled well enough that he is not going to try and detain you to ask any more information. The fact that there was someone sort of hiding in their lawn is probably pretty shameful, honestly, for a bunch of guards. So they're just gonna go ahead and let you go.
Yes, goodbye, see you later. Lovely gardens. Compliments to the gardener. Leaves. And as he leaves, he's walking, and there's enough like kind of brusqueness in his pace because he's got a little bit of adrenaline pumping. And then he gets, maybe a couple of blocks down, and then he slows his pace eventually. And it kind of hits him that not only did he not get the information that he wanted, but also was incredibly disappointed by someone who somehow continues to keep disappointing him. He'll like reach into his inner coat pocket and open up a little case with a cigarette, and it's got like 3 left, and tuck it back in, light it, and just take a slow stroll back, just thinking about the days to come and how, if ever, he's going to garner the information that he actually wants.
Wonderful. Well, as I think we close out for the night of the image of Amir sadly, disappointedly, pensively smoking as he leaves Upper Spire and returns to his home. That has been our 6th episode of Renewal of Red Row. Next week, we will be back with our penultimate episode. Join us then. I have been your GM, Alyssa, at A Disaster Career, and I will pass it to my players to tell you about themselves and about where you can find them, starting with Joe.
Tis I, Nadine. I have been your resident sad boy with a backbone? Question mark. You can find me NE_actor on Twitter. Mostly doing the just TTRPG thing, or occasional shit posting. I also occasionally voice act in things. If you want to know, I'll tell you. I'm on the internet somewhere. No, that made it sound so much more dirty than it was. And I have thoroughly enjoyed playing this game tonight and seeing the debacles of our good friends. I'm going to throw it over to Rook.
Tazai, Rook, speaker of cursed sentences. Hi, I've been Rook, and I've been playing Marigold. You can find me on socials at RJK Games, including Itch, where you can buy some of my TTRPGs that tend to be quite sad. Including a game where you're trying to convince your vampire love to not give in to the hunger and destroy everything. Yeah, and I will pass it on to Nada.
Hello, I'm Nada Nur Amir, which is like a fine name. Like it's a pretty sexy name if I do say so myself. But you can just alternate all three. And you can find me at Twitter and Blue Sky at trans_father. And I'm just doing a mouse rider game on Mondays on Take Your Roll, which is vibes-wise polar opposite to this. If you want some levity, I would suggest checking that out. Ian Caliente does a lot of nice voices and loves to critterify all the really small things under a house that could be suitable for mice to live in. Otherwise, I'm in things that don't exist yet, and I can't talk about them. So that's why. And you should also follow me because I don't post a lot, and I won't clog up your timelines because I respect your time like that. This is so lovely. I will pass it back to Alyssa.
Yeah, thank you all so much. We will be back next week. Have a good night, day, afternoon.